Welcome back, Manna fam. So we're going to be here with you this morning. This week we're walking through biblical financial principles. We started out talking about the proper posture before God, that we are stewards of what He's given us. It's not our money per se. We're called to glorify Him through how we use the funds that we've been entrusted with. And yesterday we talked about one of the first walkings out of that principle, which is tithing, the biblical imperative to tithe. And today we want to follow up with, where do we go from there? And that is a lifestyle of generosity. As believers, we're called to be generous with our time, our talents, and our money. When we look at 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 and 7, we read this. Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. We see a couple things here. Let's unpack them one by one. First and foremost, intention. We need to be intentional about creating the space to give and live generously. We need to be sowing, knowing that whatever we sow, we will reap. Maybe not necessarily in this life, but definitely in the next. Also, direction. We need to be deliberate about where our money is going. It's not wrong to spend money on yourself and your family. You should. You're responsible for clothing and feeding and taking care of your family. But are we just being generous on ourselves, or are we being deliberate about making space to be generous with others? One of my favorite stories on this topic is from the quarterback, Kurt Warner. His family would actually budget in their monthly budget money that anytime they went out, they would pick another family in that restaurant and they would anonymously pay for their meal. They'd pull the waiter aside and say, hey, that family right there, we want to pay for their meal. We don't want them to know it was us. And I love that because not only is Kurt being a generous giver with his finances, but he's also teaching his kids, hey, we are called to be stewards of what God has given us, not just to bless ourselves, but to glorify Him and bless others. So we want to take a look at, okay, how can I be generous as a giver in every aspect of my life, to include my finances? Well, that's all I got for you today, Manna fam. Tune in tomorrow as we talk about debt. But before we leave, I got to give you my favorite burger of the day. Today I'm going to share with you the cowboy burger out of Our Burger. Make sure you get their made from scratch ranch dipping sauce to go along with it. See you tomorrow.